It's that time in the show to check in on the livestock markets with our livestock marketing specialist, Dr. Derrell Peel. And Derrell, as we heard from Rosalind earlier in the show, high-path avian influenza was detected in some poultry operations in Oklahoma. So what are the implications for that discovery?
Well, obviously, it's an animal health issue right now, so the authorities are working to contain it and monitor for the disease and all of those activities. And it's a developing situation at this point, pretty fluid. From a market standpoint, the important thing about this probably is the fact that this is the first time in Oklahoma that we've had HPAI in a commercial operation. So there may be some trade implications to this. I think we have to wait and see kind of how the situation develops. Again, it's just a little bit too early to tell, but there are potentially more implications from this one than some of the earlier detections.
And to add on top of that stress, the USDA released that there was a new World screwworm that was detected in southern Mexico.
Yeah, so, screwworm was an issue that was a bad disease many years ago in the U.S. It was eradicated in the 1960s in the U.S. and Mexico later. And for many years, the U.S. has worked with Mexican and Central American authorities to control screwworm, to keep it below Panama, really. It's endemic in South America. But it has moved through Central America in recent years, and just right before Thanksgiving, the USDA announced that Mexican authorities had found a cow near the Guatemala border with screwworm. So that resulted in an immediate closure of the border to live cattle imports from Mexico as an initial step.
And I got to imagine the impacts of that are going to be definitely felt.
Yeah, so it likely means that we won't see any more cattle imports from Mexico for the rest of the year. It's probably a temporary situation in that USDA is working with the Mexican authorities to develop a protocol to get at least parts of the border reopened, but that probably won't happen until we get into January. So, so it's going to take some time. There's some additional steps that will have to be taken to ensure that we don't see, obviously, this pest reintroduced into the U.S.
How will that affect feeder cattle prices at all?
Well, because we're suspending imports, we're probably going to get a couple of 100,000 head less cattle here at the end of the year than we would have that would have normally been imported from Mexico. So that supports the tight supplies we have in the U.S. It will have it'll be in the market, but probably not in a way that we can isolate. In other words, I don't think we'll be able to look back at the prices and say, oh, this blip was due to screwworm, but it certainly is adding some additional support to an already high market that we have in the U.S.
And this will probably be the last time you see it to our annual year-end wrap-up show. So just a couple more weeks left into the year. Are there any things that you're kind of keeping an eye on?
These markets are ending the year very strong. We've seen feeder cattle prices increase basically through the fourth quarter of the year. Again, and that's a reflection just generally of the tight supplies that we have in the U.S. So we're ending the year on a strong note, continuing to see the situation that we've been monitoring for many months now continue to develop as we end up the year.
All righty, thanks, Derrell. Dr. Derrell Peel, Livestock Marketing Specialist here at Oklahoma State University.